Oh my god, guys, this chapter is going to be absolutely nuts. In one picture in particular, you're gonna lose it. I sure as hell did, and I'm gonna get to that in a little bit. I don't want to shock you right off the bat, or maybe I should. Maybe I should just shock you right off the bat. Here it is. Sasuke gets stabbed in the eye, loses his Rinnegan to Momoshiki. Yes, that actually happens. No, it's not an illusion, because later we see Sasuke on the ground there, holding his eye in pain and agony. He just got a kunai into his Rinnegan, and that's it for Sasuke's Rinnegan. Can you guys believe this? This chapter has turned out to just be completely nuts so far with what we've seen. We're gonna put the pieces of the puzzle together because we have about 10 pages of spoilers to talk about here that's coming up right after this. This video is sponsored by Discord, the 100% free way to communicate with your friends, family, and communities. I feel like everybody has used Discord, so I was really surprised that they reached out to me for a sponsorship. I use it every day on a daily basis to talk with fans, friends, people I'm playing games with, and even just to share my screen when I'm tutoring someone. It's the best chat program there is, crushing Skype, WhatsApp, Facebook, and everything else with its ease of use, zero ads, and abundant features. Typically, you'll be invited by friends to join their Discord server, but you can also simply join open communities and interact with people via voice, video, text, or images. It's great for gaming mostly, but a lot of people use it for all sorts of things, like watching Netflix together with your friends or studying classes. Long story short, it's simply by far the best program to communicate with others, period. Download Discord now with my link in the description below and start talking with your friends and family today. So in the last chapter, we saw that Naruto in his new Baryon mode was basically able to use its ability to reduce Ishiki's lifespan down to just a few minutes. Ishiki is about to die on his own right, and that's why he needed to summon Kawaki there in order to take over Kawaki's body. But Naruto, even though the fight was in his favor in the beginning, the time span on this Baryon mode is very, very short, and it pretty much, he ran out of energy or time limit and ended up losing, but he pretty much got done what he needed to get done, which was shortening Ishiki's lifespan. However, we were told by Kurama that if he uses this form, he's going to die, presumably that he can't defuse it or that it would run out his own lifespan in return. But something interesting happens here. Ishiki punches Naruto in the stomach, and you can see Naruto lose his Baryon mode. So does that mean that he's not going to die? We'll have to wait until we get the translations, but it looks like Ishiki, by punching Naruto for whatever reason, it like defused him and Kurama. So this perhaps could mean that Naruto will not die from using the Baryon mode. Maybe there's some reason, some explanation behind that as to why Ishiki or how he was able to do that in the first place, or it could just be that Naruto simply ran out of chakra. Again, we'll have to see. Now, the next page we have here is Ishiki just, I guess, like kicking or stomping Naruto, really trying to just finish him off, and the look and the expression on Naruto's face is of sheer pain and desperation. I mean, he really looks like he's on the cusp of dying here. But then on the next panel, we see Kawaki, and his artificial arm that Naruto had imbued with his chakra and given him is there laying on the ground for some reason. I don't know if it's separated at some point during this chapter or what, or like when he was teleported there, his arm popped off, or what exactly is going on. But I have a feeling here that Kawaki's gonna give that arm to Naruto in order to keep him alive. We see here Kawaki holding the arm and looking at Naruto and Sasuke on the ground there, staring them down, and I think that he's gonna, the chakra that's in that artificial arm, he's gonna give it back to Naruto to prevent him from dying. That's the feeling that I'm getting here. But things aren't looking so fortunate for Sasuke, so let's get into that part. At the end of the previous chapter, we saw Boruto open his eye, and it looked like he may have been awakening the Pure Eye, which is what we saw from the very first episode of the Boruto manga. Either that, or he was transforming back into Momoshiki. As we know, Boruto has Momoshiki's karma, and it is Momoshiki's intention to use that to essentially, eventually, take over Boruto's body. So, we've seen before in chapter 43, Momoshiki took over Boruto's body as they were fighting against the ever so powerful Boro, and he completely destroyed Boro in just a few hits, displaying the tremendous power increase that Boruto gains when Momoshiki takes over. It's similar to when Kurama would take over Naruto's body back in the old days, but in this case, Momoshiki takes over Boruto entirely. It doesn't even seem that there's a trace of Boruto, it's essentially just full Momoshiki. So the chapter must start off with Sasuke and Kawaki trying to defend against Ishiki a little bit, and we know Momoshiki doesn't just go ham right off the bat because here Sasuke still has his Rinnegan, which in one of two things is happening here. Either he's using his Rinnegan to exchange places with Kawaki, or he was using Henge, transformation jutsu to make himself appear as Kawaki. I think that probably the exchange using the Rinnegan is more likely, but it's still kind of a strange panel. I'm interested to see what exactly is going on here. At some point, Boruto is going to get up as Momoshiki as he's transformed with the karma all over his body, and Sasuke is going to appear right behind him and actually punch him far away. So again, I have no idea what's going on here, but Sasuke is going on the offensive against Momoshiki here. And at some point during their battle, Momoshiki and Boruto's body is going to fly in and stab Sasuke in the Rinnegan with a kunai, and I guess destroy it. Sasuke is going to fall to the ground in pain, holding his bloody, missing eye. Naruto there in his base form can't believe it. Kawaki can't believe it either. And there Momoshiki is kind of grinning. I guess he needed to take advantage of that, to get rid of the Rinnegan because it's troublesome, and he sure as hell did. This kind of sucks for Sasuke fans because him having the Rinnegan is just completely badass, and this just sucks. I honestly doubt he's ever going to get the Rinnegan back, and now he's only going to have one eye. I mean, Sharingan is still incredibly powerful, but damn, that's a major change to the story of Boruto and the Naruto franchise. So I'm not sure what happens with Momoshiki, but he's kind of out of the picture here. You see Ishiki looking upwards. I don't know what's going on. Either Momoshiki's up flying in the air, he flew away, or I don't know what's going on, but basically this, I believe, is probably the second half of the chapter, as we're going to see a conversation between Ishiki and Kawaki, and Kawaki's karma comes out. We weren't sure if it was gone or what, based on what happened with Jigen earlier in the manga, but it appears he still does have his karma, and it looks like Ishiki's going to use his last moments to awaken the karma in Kawaki and take over his body. Now we get a little bit of an interesting dialogue. Ishiki hugs Kawaki, and you got to remember that Kawaki's backstory is that he was basically like raised, tortured, and trained by Ishiki to become the new vessel for him. And so in a way, he's almost like his father. And I think what you're getting here is some dialogue about, kind of like the fatherly son bond, even though Kawaki, he hates Ishiki because he basically tortured him like his whole childhood. But he's saying something along the lines of, I'm still your daddy, or I don't know, something like that. And Kawaki thinks about Naruto, who acted more of like a father figure than Ishiki ever could have, who treated him with kindness. And you see Kawaki kind of thinking this over in his mind. So what exactly is going on in his head? I mean, obviously, we know he preferred Naruto being around than Ishiki, but he might have to give himself over to Ishiki in order to save Naruto. And then in the final page we have here of the spoilers, Kawaki's saying something to Ishiki. My guess is probably Naruto's more of a father than you ever were, or something along those lines. But it appears that Kawaki has a plan, or he has something up his sleeve. It looks like the karma is actually disappearing from his body, so I don't know what that's about. You can kind of see it, and then Ishiki looks very surprised as he's standing there, and he kind of grunts in pain. And it looks like maybe his time ran out. Maybe the karma, he tried to infuse it into himself, it was infected. It kind of looks in the top left panel here like his hand got sliced off. I'm not sure what's going on. Maybe he is falling apart. He could have just simply run out of time and just be dying here. So that could be how Ishiki ends. He could have been right on the cusp of essentially being able to take over Kawaki's body, but he dies first. But it doesn't make too much sense because it doesn't really line up with the first episode of the Boruto anime, which leads you to believe that he will end up taking over Kawaki's body. So this is only about 10 pages or so. Obviously, there's going to be about 25, I think, in total when we get the full chapter. You guys know what to do. Make sure you subscribe with notifications enabled, because I will be making a video revealing and talking about the full chapter in detail and where this Boruto manga is leading, because it doesn't look good for Naruto and Sasuke right now. They very well may die in this fight, or something is potentially going to happen to them. So stay tuned here on Mastar Media. I'll talk to you guys on the next one.